Hello, boys and girls. Welcome back to our class. Today I'm excited because we're going to be having our first digital learning. So let's see what we're learning today. Today we're going to be learning about data analysis. The objective is interpret data using a frequency table, a bar graph with scale intervals, or a pictograph. We're going to be recalling frequency table, bar graphs to solve problems. So how can you solve a problem using a bar graph? Well, let's read the problem. Jordan took a survey of his classmates to find out their favorite team sports. He recorded the results in the table. How can he show the results in a bar graph? Well, the first thing we have to look at the table. So the first step is find the totals. And we can notice that soccer, 12 kids voted for it. Then basketball has 4 votes as the favorite sport. Baseball has 14 votes, and football has 9 votes. Now, step number 2 is going to be write the title and label the graph. The title is going to be favorite team sport. Then we're going to put the sports in one of the sides. Here they are. And at the bottom, we're going to put the number of classmates that choose that sport as their favorite. The step number 2 is going to be finding the scale. To find the scale first, I have to find the least number, which is 4, and the greatest number, which is 14. When I look at all the numbers, I notice that most of them are multiples of 2. So for my scale, I'm going to choose counting by 2s. So as I place the numbers, I can see that I can fit all the numbers in my chart. Step number 4 is going to be draw the bars showing the numbers for each sport. So for soccer, we have 12. Now I'm going to locate that number in my graph. And I'm going to draw a bar that is going to stop in 12. I'm going to label it. Then I'm going to go to basketball, which has 4 votes. 4 kids voted for it. I'm going to look for it on my graph, and I'm going to draw a bar that stops in 4. I'm going to label it 2. The next one is baseball. For baseball, I can see that 14 kids voted for baseball. And so I'm going to find it on my graph, and now I'm going to stop drawing a bar graph where 14 is. And at the end, I'm going to look for football. Now, I notice that football has a number 9. And when I look at my scale, I don't have a 9 there. So what I'm going to do is locate the 9, and I know the 9 is between 8 and 10. I'm going to draw it there, and then I'm going to draw a bar that stops right there in number 9. So I'm going to label it 2. So this is how I can represent all my information from my chart in the bar graph. Now I'm going to do the same, but this time we're going to use a pictograph to share and show how to solve a problem. The problem we have now is this one about math. So Matt's school is having a walkathon to raise money for the school library. Matt made a pictograph to show the number of miles some students walked. So let's look at the pictograph. So now I notice that he made some pictures here. So step number 1 is first read the key. The key is telling me that each t-shirt that Matt drew equals the distance of 2 miles. Now I'm going to use that information to do step number 2, which is find the totals for each participant. And I'm going to write an equation to explain how I found that number. So here is the pictograph, and I know that each t-shirt is 2 miles. So I'm going to represent it here. And I notice that some of the pictures are incomplete. We have half t-shirt. So by looking at the picture, I can tell that half t-shirt is going to equal only 1 mile. Now I notice that Sam has 5 t-shirts, and each one is worth 2 miles. So I'm going to represent that with a multiplication, which is going to be 5 times 2 equals 10 miles. Now Matt has 2 t-shirts, that each of them is 2 miles, and one half t-shirt that it's only 1 mile. So I'm going to represent that with this equation. 2 times 2 plus 1 equals 5. Ben has only 1 t-shirt, and Erica has 4 t-shirts. Now I know how many miles each kid walked. So for step number 3, I'm going to write the title and label the graph too. So Sam has 10 t-shirts, and the title is going to be first a school walkathon. Now I have to put the participants, which are Sam, Matt, Ben, and Erica. And the number of miles is going to be in the left side this time. Now, once I label my graph, I'm going to do step number 4, which is find the scale. I notice here too that Ben has the least number and that Sam has the greatest number. And when I look at the other numbers, most of them are multiples of 2. So in this graph, I'm going to be counting by 2s to do my scale. So here it is. Now, the next step is going to draw the bars showing the numbers for each sport. So I know that Sam has walked 10 miles. So I'm going to find Matt, Sam, and he walked for 10 miles. Then Matt walked for 5 miles. I'm going to find Matt, and I'm going to stop in 5. But I noticed that I don't have a 5 here. I have 4 and 6, so I know that 5 was in between 4 and 6, so I'm going to place it there. And when I draw my bar, I'm going to stop right in between 4 and 6. I'm going to label it, so I know it's 5. Then I'm going to go to Ben. Ben only walked for 2 miles. I'm going to find a 2 in my graph, and I'm going to stop there for that bar, and I'm going to label it again. And finally, I know that Erica walked for 8 miles. I'm going to find the 8 in my graph, and I'm going to stop my bar in number 8. And I'm going to label it 2. So once I finish doing my bar graph, I'm going to analyze the data and solve some problems. So my first problem says, which student walked the most miles? To do that, I have to find the kid that walked the most, which is Sam with 10 miles. Now I can answer my question with a full sentence. Sam walked the most miles. Don't forget to start with capital letter and finish with a period. The next question says, how many more miles would Matt have had to walk to equal the number of miles Erica walked? So the first thing I have to do in this problem is find the key words, the most important words, which is how many more. Then I have Matt. And I know that I'm comparing because I have the names of 2 kids, Matt and Erica. So Matt walked for 5 miles and Erica walked for 8 miles. So I have to subtract those 2 numbers to find how many more miles Matt has to walk. So I do the subtraction, 8 minus 5 equals 3, and then I can have my answer statement, which says Matt would have to walk 3 more miles to equal the number of miles Erica walked. Now let's answer the last question. The last question says, how many miles in all did the students walk? So when I look at this question, I know that how many miles in all is implying that I need to know all the distance that all the kids walk together. So I'm going to do an addition to find that answer, which is 10 plus 5 plus 2 plus 8 equals 25. So the answer to that question is the students walked 25 miles in all. So if you notice, we use the graphs, the pictographs, and the frequency charts to find the answers to some problems. Well, this is all for today. I hope you understood my lesson and see you next time. Bye.